It's when it's
Yeah.
6. Can I say 6:02? I can't see.
6:05.
6:05. We'll call the meeting to order. And roll call, other than Deputy Mayor Ferguson will not be with us tonight. She has sent in her information saying that she will be here. Anybody have a conflict of interest that they would like to declare at this time? Seeing none. Addition, deletion, or approval of the agenda. We do have an addition, request, that was sent out on your drive. I don't know if everybody got it, but so it was late. Request from Funny Shore School for the Roots of Empathy program. They're looking for funding on that, and I would be looking for a motion to add that to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to add that to the agenda, please.
And
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Sonia. Question on the motion, or I guess we can just add it. All those in favor of adding it? So I do the question. Motion.
What exactly is it? Because I wasn't here.
But then we did the question.
Hmm.
So it was an email request that came in, it was actually a message came to Councillor Dealey, so if you wanted to just give a quick overview of it.
Sure. I thought we were just gonna add it to the agenda and talk about it.
I have to, right?
Roots of empathy.
Yeah.
Do you want me just to go over?
Just to go over, because I do have to ask, because it is a motion. It has to be-
It's a program where they bring an infant into the school for grade 2 classes, grade 2 or grade 3, I believe this one's for grade 2. So it provides training for the instructor of that program. Typically, it's the guidance counselor. The request is for $3,800. Now, I did check with them and they said any amount would be appreciated to help subsidize the cost of that program for the teacher. It's a 4-day training session.
Okay. That explains it. They
Sorry
bring a
about that.
baby.
And they do have a parent in the neighborhood willing to bring in their child to show the kids how to take care of, well, I'm not sure if it's entirely how to take care, but all those sorts of things that you need to know.
Cool. I missed out on that in grade 2.
So we do have a motion on the floor, seconded, any further questions on it that we can add that to the agenda? That can be added on your new business.
You're gonna want to consider that before approving the grade policy. Because then there's a bunch of paperwork that has to be filled out. Just given the time of the training expected for.
So where would you like it for the grant policy then?
Yeah.
I'm going to put down,
Yeah, right
Yeah.
after.
so 14. Or no,
It's business arising, even though it would be out of sort or out of order.
so I can just put a new one.
Yeah, and
So we'll
make
just
that
go-
D. 8, next page. D
Also then
Right in here.
the grant policy will move,
to E,
and then that'll move down.
yes.
So everybody got that? Your new business, it'll be D will now be the Fundy Shores request. E will be grant policy and F will be this policy. Yeah. All those in favor vote. Addition, seeing nobody contrary, it will be added. Now looking for motion for approval of the minutes of. We have 3 regular council meetings, September 6th, 2023, our special council meeting of September 14th, 2023, and our committee of the whole meeting, September 20th, 2023. If you had a motion, I would take for that, for all 3.
I'll make a motion to approve the 3 sets of minutes as presented.
You can have a seconder,
Second.
Councilor Thompson. All those in favor of the motion? Question on the motion? Thank you for the question. Right, you said it's so close. to the-
We're just.
Questions on the motion? Well, I should have it wrote here and I don't. Any questions on the motion to accept the three? Seeing no questions, all those in favor?
I,
Contrary? Seeing none, motion passed. No presentations to council.
Can I make
Time.
One comment.
Sure.
There was supposed to be a presentation this evening. It was supposed to be the rural plan draft bylaw. However, the province announced yesterday that the statements of interest related to planning were approved, pardon me. So Alex has to take our draft and compare it to those statements of interest to make sure it's in compliance. There will be, as long as council's okay with it, October in your, like the last page of your agenda. A Tuesday evening, right there.
Okay.
A committee of the whole meeting for a presentation of the draft rural plan, the 24th. It's a Tuesday.
that's over and above.
Yes,
Okay.
because there's two presentations at the normal committee.
And we'll just, yeah, so that'll be added and we'll just do that as a reminder once we get to the. Down to the minutes.
So is it completed?
The draft is well, as complete as it can be before it's submitted for review to the council. It just pushed this back 3 weeks from our original schedule.
All right. 7, business arising from the minutes. 7A is MB Power, the Turner Field Agreement. As went out earlier, due to the work commitments for Linda this month, the guidelines have not been drafted. We're looking for a motion to table that again to our next meeting.
I would say that the Triangle Field Agreement draft gets tabled for the next meeting.
Tabled by Councillor Bent, seconded by Councillor Dealey. Questions on the motion? Table, nothing. All those in favor of tabling it? Contrary, seeing none, cut. 7B, Fire Department bylaw. This will be the concerns received to council, and to date, we received no concerns on the bylaw, correct?
Okay.
And the changes made to the document for fire rescue.
Yes, it did originally have Musquash Fire Department, now it has Musquash Rescue Department, Fire Rescue, my apologies.
I see we put Fundy Shores, Musquash Fire Department. So
No.
are we changing the name?
Nope. No, that was in your original draft, a couple of drafts ago, actually, it is just the Musquash Fire Department,
Okay,
Fire Rescue Department, so the name is unchanged.
okay, I read it and
I
I
caught
saw
that.
it in there, it is in there once,
Is it?
yes.
Not in the first part, is it? Oh, no. Let me
Because
look here.
I just read the one you put in this week's.
Okay,
Read it thoroughly.
oh, there it is, second page. Thank you. I'll cross off where, anywhere that it's referred to as Fundy Shore / Musquash, I'll take out the Fundy Shores.
It's not Musquash.
I apologize, I thought I caught one.
And it will be Musquash as listed, Musquash Fire Rescue, right?
Yes.
So that's okay, it's ready to document.
Mhm.
Okay,
My apologies, sir.
so Linda will make those changes on that, and we receive no concerns with the document. So we will be looking for a motion to go to second reading by summary.
I move we go for second reading or something.
Councillor Thompson's made the motion to go to second reading, seconded by Councillor Sonia. Questions on the motion? And all those in favor? Seeing no objections, no contrary, Linda will.
Okay, so fire department bylaw summary, bylaw B-1-2023 can be summarized as follows. The bylaw outlines the role of the Musquash Fire Rescue Department as the fire protection agency for Fundy Shores with mutual aid as required by and for other departments. It fully outlines the membership and the duties thereto, including but not limited to full membership, probationary membership, support membership, auxiliary membership, to name a few. The bylaw outlines the maximum number of allowed members on the department and actions for the protection of Fundy Shores should membership drop below the necessary levels to continue effective function of the department. Rank structure and officer positions are also outlined in the bylaw with position descriptions used by the former LSD Fire Department. The bylaw continues to outline participation requirements and the procedures and general duties of members and appropriate use of assets. The bylaw goes beyond just what firefighters do for the community, but council's responsibility to firefighters as individuals should grievances arise as part of the function of the department. This concludes the summary of bylaw B-1-2023, a bylaw respecting the fire department.
You. 7B3, which will be the third reading of title and enactment. We need a motion for that to move to reading by title and enactment.
I'll make a motion to have the third reading by title and enactment.
Motion by Councillor Deely, seconded.
I'll second motion.
Seconded by Councillor Bent. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary, seeing none, we go to third reading by title and enactment.
Okay, bylaw B-1-2023, a bylaw respecting the fire department. And enacting date is January 1, 2024.
Thank you. And that will be the full amount for the fire bylaw, right? That's completed.
That's
now?
everything.
Everything's, okay.
Done.
Sign off on that. Perfect. 7C, unsightly premises. Bylaw. To date, we received no concerns on this bylaw as well. And we are looking for a motion to go to second reading by summary.
I make the motion to go to read the unsightly premises bylaw by summary.
Motion by Councillor Bennett, seconder. Seconded by Councillor Thompson. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary? Seeing none, we will go to second reading by summary.
Okay, dangerous or unsightly premise bylaw summary, bylaw C-1-2023 can be summarized as follows. The bylaw provides the description of what constitutes as dangerous or unsightly premise and outlines the offenses and penalties relating to permitting individual premises, including property, to become such. The description is that from the Local Governance Act and penalties under the Provincial Offences Procedures Act. This bylaw outlines the ways in which notification can be given to the property owner, found in contravention of this bylaw and the appeals process therein. This bylaw does grant extraordinary powers when deemed necessary and or under emergency circumstances for Fundy Shores to attend the property and remediate as necessary to bring the property into compliance. Fundy Shores also gains the rights to recovering the cost of remediating the site as necessary and provincial application of the cost incurred directly to the property owner. This completes the summary of the dangerous and or dangerous or unsightly premise bylaw C-1-2023.
Thank you. Part 3, third reading by title and enactment of the unsightly bylaw. We're looking for a motion to proceed with that.
I'll make a motion to proceed with the third reading of the entitlement and
Motion. Councillor Deely, seconded by Councillor Sonia. Question on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Seeing none, we will go third reading by title and enactment.
Bylaw C-1-2023, a bylaw respecting dangerous or unsightly premise. Enactment date will be January 1, 2024.
Sign off on that one as well. Both bylaws are now done and completed, passed. Contract.
Tonight, yes, that there is a contract in the OneDrive
The service,
for the Service Commission.
looking for a motion. To approve the contract. Regional Services Commission.
Until council chooses to end the contract. Motion of council. I believe there's
There's not a set,
yeah, I believe it's 30 days. I'm trying to get to it, but with Zoom, I can't minimize my screen.
So services agreement
Yes.
or unsightly premises.
Pull it up. The services agreement, yes.
Mhm.
3 months notice.
Yeah, 90 days, there you go. Oh, no. I think there was something on my screen, I apologize.
but it has that.
Mhm. I read it, I just had to refer.
We're looking for a motion to accept that contract.
I will make a motion to accept the service contract. Service agreement contract. I'm gonna get the title there. Dangerous or unsightly premises service agreement.
A motion by Councillor Benz, seconded by Councillor Dealey. Questions on the motion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
There's no mention of contract fee, like fees for doing this, does
That was an appendice in that contract, Schedule A.
Yeah.
It gives the costs associated to implementing certain actions.
I saw where you signed. And then, not that was funny, that was, sorry.
Any other questions on the motion? Everybody did see that at the back, all the pricing, but okay, just wanted to be sure. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Nothing.
Contrary minded? Seeing none, contract motion is passed. Article 3 is the appointment. We need a motion to appoint the inspector. It's all the same contract.
I move that we do the appointment of the inspector.
I seconded.
They have to like the name.
Yeah, there was a draft motion. I do have it. You might have it actually. in review. Maybe I wrote it for me just a second.
Yeah, so
What is this, a full-time employee of planning?
It's Vernon Faulkner. There's the motion,
you want that to have a motion, but
so it can be,
yeah,
yes.
so who made the motion? So, Councilor Thompson,
Yeah, so you. Okay. So you just.
yeah, so you want to read that motion, I guess that would be, and that's got to name that listed within.
Whereas the rural community of Fundy Shores has contracted with the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission to obtain dangerous or unsightly premises enforcement services. Be it resolved that Keith Berlin Faulkner is a bylaw officer of the rural community of Fundy Shores, subject to the service agreement with the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission and limited to the role of enforcing the dangerous or unsightly premises bylaw. Be it further resolved that Keith Furman Faulkner shall remain a bylaw officer for the rural community of Fundy Shores, so long as he remains an employee of the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission. Be it further resolved that Keith Furman Faulkner shall remain a bylaw officer for the rural community of Fundy Shores, so long as the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission remains contracted to provide dangerous or unsightly enforcement services to the rural community of Fundy Shores.
And who's
I
seconded?
did this.
And are you good with the second stuff?
Thank you.
So no further questions on the motion? No questions. Yeah.
I think this doesn't affect the motion per se, but is he still also acting as a building chief and
Yeah.
building inspector? He's doing both jobs.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
And he runs everything by you before he contacts the homeowner.
the
That's in
complaints, yeah, that's in the contract. The complaints will come through here and there, and there'll be discussion before they're acted upon.
And it would be complaint based.
Complaint based, yes. They're not patrolling looking for problems.
And even the complaint base, if I'm correct on that, still comes to the office.
Yeah.
So it can be the complaint, but still,
Does it come to council? Or
No.
just to you?
but at least it would come through the office. It wouldn't just a complaint and then go and do whatever they want to do.
It escalates to council when there's like an appeal process and enforcement, things like that.
Any other questions on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? Contrary? Motion passed. D, which is the Fundy Shores request from teacher Ms. Thompson. You wanna,
Sure. So Ms. Thompson had written, looking for some financial support for Fundy Shores School for their guidance counselor to take 4 days of training. Cost of the training is $3,800. So I did watch the little video on this today, and it's available for everybody to view. I'm sure there's a lot more detail behind it, but what I gathered from the video was that there's gonna be a family member or a community member that has a small child. They will bring them to the school. I believe they stay at the school from November till the end of the year, and they would come in so many, maybe 1 day a week. They put their child down to play with the kids, and this guidance counselor, from what I gathered, was observing how the kids were, babies, people love babies, and so they were watching the behavior and interactions and how the other kids were interacting, and this was, creating a positive experience for the children to learn how to be empathetic to when the baby's crying, see what they're doing. It looked really, really good. So I think it's a great program by the looks of it. I hadn't heard of it until today. But they are looking for $3,800 or any donation that would be able to help with the training. Training takes place October the 23rd. And in a location in New Brunswick that has not yet been determined. So that $3,800 is also covering the cost of accommodation and travel for this guidance counselor. And they apologize that it was such short notice, but because of the timing, they needed to ask as soon as possible. So change the world, child by child is what their that's their slogan. So that's what they're looking for. Yeah, I guess that's,
and I just wanted to, so the program is Roots of Empathy, that's the program name
Roots of
that
Empathy.
James Chuck, okay, that's their.
just a
Yeah,
slogan,
that's what
yeah,
I thought, I just wanted to be sure that.
yeah.
Okay. And just on the side note of that, Linda did reach out to see if they secured, funding from anywhere else, and they haven't yet, so just so council knows that. So we're kind of, I don't know if we're the first, but we're one of the ones that they're asking funding for. So just.
And do we have our funding policy in place for grants?
That's the next item on the agenda. That's why I said it should be addressed beforehand. The previous donation donation was $1,000 for the soccer program. And council had set aside 300 for the Orton Dillingham program, and that was an option, but did not end up following through with that, as all the teachers in our area had the training.
What would have been? We would have gave, or council could have gave for that one, if it was a follow through.
Just, I'm pulling that up right now because I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was 300.
I think it was 2.
Was that the full amount? That's what I just want to be sure. That was the number, but I just didn't know there was more on that. That was the full.
Who's the counselor? Is
Ashley
it somebody?
McDade.
Okay. And he's bringing somebody in with the baby, is that what
Yes.
she's doing? I have a friend that actually did that program. And
Took the training and did the.
she took her child
Mm.
and did it, but she's a human resource person too. So she basically ran the course and took her child.
This would work on to know this person as well.
I probably know who it is.
The proposed grant application process for a one-time community investment sponsorship. They're asked to apply at least 10 weeks prior to the date of their event and request of $1,000 or less. And annual funding calls requested $500, so. That is what it's in here.
Like, if we're at the stage that we would need a motion. Wherever you want to make the motion, that's entirely up to the motion, I guess. But we would need a motion on the floor to at least proceed to the question of what you want to do.
I'll make a motion to discuss the routes of the donation.
Motion by Councillor Dealey, seconded by
I'll second it.
Councillor Thompson. The motion was to move forward tonight or to discuss. So questions on the motion? So the motion's going to be defeated.
You had a question, you didn't
Yeah.
ask for the yay votes.
Oh, no, I wanted to know what the discussion was on it.
Okay,
Because we were already discussing before the motion of what we were giving and.
Oh, you were
Right.
asking
So
for,
we-
is there a potential dollar amount that
Right,
you'd like to
is there
see?
anything that we're going to go ahead with, or are we just going to? We just don't want to keep discussing it.
So are we precedent? That,
Well, here it says, apply 10 weeks in advance prior to, we understand in this situation, they couldn't, for a request of $1,000 or less.
yes.
But it also says,
Did you?
or if they need continual annual funding, it's $500, over $500. So. You would discuss $1,000 or less if this policy was in place right now.
but that policy technically is not.
Technically is not in place yet.
So the 5,000 is for operating grants?
Yes, this would be for a sponsorship or donation. As near as I could fit it into tonight's discussions. Because we'd be sponsoring a person or an organization to take training. Whereas operating would be so they could say, run the school. I know that's not what it would be used for, but.
It is a good program from what I hear. It's a really good program.
And it's good for community development.
And
Falls into the ACE thing that we were talking about
Mhm.
last week.
Is
I
it,
don't know.
I think Denny is asking for, sorry, your worship, if there's a dollar amount that council would like to put on the table. Or to kick around and discuss if that's what they'd like to see. donated to this project.
And in our contract, it says it has to be 10 weeks before if it's $1,000.
But this policy is not in place yet.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So, technically,
Technicality, right?
technicality.
So,
Then put $500 with there, if anybody, do we think we could, I know we can't do 3,800, that's not in our
But will
budget.
we consider the full 1,000?
Or would we consider what we were going to get to the school for the Galaxia program?
So,
So I guess, yeah, if you wanted to make the motion of the dollar amount of whatever you want to put out there, because that's. That would be at the end of it is council would decide, right? Once the motion's made of whatever dollar amount, then council can vote it down or accept it either way, or, but we would need to have something in the motion
Councillor Daly could amend her motion
to.
to whatever dollar amount.
The dollar amount, as long as the seconder is okay with the amendment.
Yeah, let's, make a motion to discuss the $1,000. Do we
To donate?
Donate,
You do have that, yes.
to donate the $1,000.
So, motion to donate $1,000 to the school guidance counselor, the school program made by.
For the group of
DLE,
empathy instruction.
right, and that's the amendment, who was the second,
Councillor Thompson.
and are you okay with the amendment as? Councilor Thompson, okay with the amendment? Now questions on the motion of donating $1,000 to. We took a long way to get there.
We did, sorry. The, so the question, I guess I would. Maybe it's not a question, but we are. Stressing that it has to be for the roots of empathy, and if they do not secure the other funding, then can we request the money back? If it doesn't go ahead, it's, is that something?
You can make that a stipulation of the donation. That the program must be completed.
I think that would be what I would like to see. I'm just saying, if the other funding wasn't available and it wasn't able to be taken, I would. Rather the money come back to council so it can be reused for something else,
So, yeah, so it's this course specific,
specifically for this roots of empathy.
we can put that right in the,
I'm writing it right now as a note on the.
okay. Yeah, so any other questions? So, all in favor of the motion of giving $1,000 to. Roots of Empathy course? All those in favor? Contrary, with that,
I'm a nay.
yes, contrary, one. Motion's passed. Just then further note to the board know. All right. I guess we switched them around here. E, grant policy. So as the discussions with council relating to the implementation of a grant policy with groups wishing to receive grants from Fundy Shores, including in tonight's agenda is the draft policy, which everybody had. I'm looking for a motion to accept that policy.
I move that we accept that, the grant policy as written.
Moved by Councilor Sonia, seconder. Councilor Ben, second motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing no questions on the motion, all those in favor of accepting grant policy?
Aye.
Contrary, seeing none, motion's passed. And then we move one up to 6F. International Dyslexia Day, October 8th, 2023, that's right around the corner. Council received a letter from Faye Terrio on behalf to support International Dyslexia Day on October 8th, 2023, and that was also included in the package. Everybody had a chance to look at that. Want to allow you to know,
Yes,
for them.
The unfortunate part is we don't have the means to change the lighting outside.
Is there anything that we can, like, cause I know that's come up a couple times now, different things. Like, is there any of the colored lights, string lights that we could have and put in the windows or in certain windows for?
Or floodlight, that we can get different color bulbs.
We could, yes.
Okay,
Are
I
they
guess-
out yet? I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking of the Christmas light though.
Yeah, floodlights are all the time.
oh, yeah, I think so, yeah,
For the landscape.
it would be
People are
quick because
proud of
October is
landscape.
just like, that's good.
Sure, yeah, all colors.
Now, what color are we for dyslexia?
Because on there, I suppose I did
I wanna say orange, but I could,
thought on,
no, I'm probably wrong
okay, I'm not gonna go with orange anyway. See how good boy, that's real good. I thought it was.
though. I'm just pulling up the letter here. Ooh.
I would think with the huge effort that the members are community are making, that it would be nice to show that support in any way we can.
While we're looking for that, is there also something that we could do to, if they want to, if we could do a social media thing or like on our social media website or
Actually,
they're almost like a proclamation, but just their letter, I guess, or.
Didn't we do that? For the the other one?
Yeah, I didn't read it.
Didn't, wasn't there a proclamation?
So, but that was a proclamation, so that they're not asking for a proclamation and that's just their support.
oh, see this one here, my apologies, because there was a two-part thing. This says, would be grateful of any letters of support you could send us. I apologize, this was
I guess with your proclamation, what you do a letter
support,
of support.
Yes.
sorry.
Okay, so a letter of support,
Mhm.
and then with that letter of support, they'll get it up on their social media and our website. So I guess we're looking for a motion. From council for that, I guess, for the.
I would,
Support International Dyslexia Day.
I would make the motion to support council sending a letter in support of Dyslexia Day.
I will second that.
Second for Councilor Sonia. Questions on the motion? Seeing none. It's approved. All those in favor? Excited. I thought we were doing good.
I'm probably done.
Okay. Contrary minded, seeing none. Motion's passed. And we'll do something up, well, yeah, we have to be this week, but yeah, no pressure. We'll be better on this one, but- All right, department reports, mayor's report, everybody got my list of all my boring meetings. Nothing really outstanding, just a couple of them were the RSC budget meetings. And the other ones, the bigger one, I guess of note was our meetings with Synergy, the contract's been signed, as you're all aware. And they actually, I guess if I can say that, they've started work for us. Yesterday morning. So we're their sole contract right now, so we have to take advantage of
So we're
everything
getting
we
lots
can
of
get.
attention.
Well, we'll take everything we can get from them. For now, I know the RSC is scheduling a meeting with them next week. So I'm sure there's gonna be lots of learning, gathering around that, if I don't know.
They didn't budget for something.
The budget hasn't been approved.
Budget's not approved, it was only adopted. So, yeah, so I am excited for that, it is a good thing, Fundy Shores, for the record, was the first, within the RSC that signed on with them, so. That's a good thing, so I can't wait to see what can happen the next, like to see in the next couple of weeks, but we did say 90
They'll do
days.
a monthly report.
Yeah.
They'll have a monthly report submitted to me
Just
and
like Alex.
I'll submit to council. They will make presentations when we need them to or when we ask them to.
Okay.
And I had a meeting with them yesterday afternoon and was on the phone with Brian again this morning, so. On land acquisition stuff, so. Exciting.
I think they're, like I said, I think we're gonna see something. You know, I won't put the horse too far before the cart, but I think I'm very optimistic with the working. With the collaborating with them, so I think we're gonna see some stuff happening. So that's good for all of us. All right, and I think that was the. Other than the big things, other than hurricane or tropical storm Lee, I guess I had a lot of my meetings too, between me, Linda, fire, EMO, and everything went smooth. And again, I know in the meeting I said it, but just to touch quickly on Musquash Fire, the job they've done not only through the tropical storm, but with doing, you know, going out, they were doing stuff that really they didn't need to do, but they did. They were removing trees and keeping roadways open for everybody. And so again, big kudos to them for the job they did and all the volunteers. We appreciate it. And the hard work of Linda. We put in a lot of time. Well, there's a lot of meetings and people don't realize, I guess, the amount of messages going back and forth, and I certainly had a different eye opener, because this was our first tropical storm, our first thing that we had to deal with, I guess, as a municipality, so.
Another
And
possibility
unfortunately,
this
another one might
weekend,
be coming
yeah.
this weekend, so,
Saturday night.
yeah, so.
Be a little bit different with the, people more rather than so convenient to come on Saturday in the middle of summer.
Yeah, so it was a learning experience, and I think we did learn some from it. We learned that, you know, some things where we have to pick up a little bit more with certain groups that we have to get information from them a little quicker, a little easier, but anyway, it was all good, and anyway, thank you to council and Linda for us getting through it. Councilors report. Deputy Mayor Ferguson did send her report in for economic development. Along with her deputy mayor meetings. Everybody should have got that. Is there anything noted on it or anybody had? Okay. And Councillor Bennett. Do you want to do, I will ask him, do you want to do just a councillor report or both combined for your committee?
I will combine both.
No, okay.
So I did attend our meetings for the October meeting, the special meeting and the budget. Meeting and the meeting a whole. We did attend the ACE awareness session. And we had the participation in the Hurricane Lee. We did have a request for a warming center come through me. It was subsequently canceled. Shouldn't say a warming center. They were looking for charging of their laptop. So they were looking for power, basically. But it was subsequently canceled because the power came on. And I think that's it. We have our next community development meeting coming up next week. And one scheduled in November that we're going to have Heather Chase come and speak to us. I did have a question about meetings. It's okay to pick them up like the month of December.
Oh, you mean like regular council meeting?
No, committee meetings.
Oh, yes.
Only 4 years we have.
Minimum
Yeah.
of 4 a year after that.
Okay. Gotta give them a break.
Almost.
Yeah.
Good. Any questions for Councilor Bennett? Councilor Healy? Do you want to do both? or-
I'm gonna do both
Okay.
together, yeah. So I have a whole list of dates, but more or less, I went to the economic development meeting with Deputy Mayor Ferguson, had a recreation committee here, September 11th to discuss the September 16th events. September 13th, the mayor and I had a discussion. It was decided for the safety of the residents that we would not be moving forward. A lot of calls, a lot of changes, a lot of things happening there. Attended the bylaw meeting of the whole budget meetings, the AIDS trauma care training. October 1st, helped move to stop sign that was ill placed.
I got a text message about that.
So if anybody's familiar with the stop sign on the back of my card was going back to the correct spot. And Gateway was called, they came and I believe looked after
I got the message too, so you guys are really quick. Okay,
it. We were
yeah, it was.
thought it was at the four-way intersection, so there was a need to be quick, so. So that was that, for the recreation part, last bingo that was held here, there was 22 in attendance, which was a large turnout. Was great.
Can I ask one? Sorry, I interrupted you, but the dates, but like, is it
The second Friday of the month.
second Friday?
Have a little bit of a community day report, so we officially canceled on September the 13th due to tropical storm Lee. I got on the phone right away, trying to get everybody notified, everything stopped, and as we all know, the meat had already been ordered, meat cheese had already been ordered, so that was donated to Romero House. So we did make that presentation. We have a bunch of stuff here that we've already purchased and we'll use at future events. Everything that was canceled was porta potties, safety first, entertainment, maritime paramedics, the volunteers, the vendors, and powered associates, and the barbecue personnel. Roscoe originally wanted the water back that they had donated, but then in a conversation that was had, they decided with the storm coming that we would keep it and use it for storm need if we needed it, so thank you to Roscoe for doing that. Upcoming events, I guess we just have, hopefully a meeting next week, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Upcoming activities, trunk or treat will be held at the school on Friday, October the 27th. We discussed with council to perhaps decorate a trunk and give away some chips and water. And so we looking to see if anybody in council's interested in doing that. We have the ring liner to discuss if that's going to be happening this year. There's going to be a breakfast with Santa held in December. And to be looking for some volunteers perhaps for that. And just working on some possibly Christmas tree lighting with council. Not sure who's going to look after that, but that's on the list. And as part of that ceremony that day, I would like to suggest having a volunteer appreciation presentation. That's all I have.
Any questions for Councilor Field? So I will add, because I just made a note of it, because I didn't see it on the list till you mentioned it, I was hoping you would. Was the donation to Romero House. I'm sure everybody was aware, because so I would like to thank council, because I wasn't at that meeting. I was in the budgeting meeting with the RSC. When that motion was made to donate the food to Romero House. So just thank you to council for doing that. And it was, yeah, it was very good. It was nice to see it go where it was needed. They were very thankful and grateful for it, of course, and going to be well used. I'm sure she was quite surprised by the hamburger. So she was like, yeah, I was like, I've never seen that hamburger before. It's like I did a little bit. So anyway, they were quite happy on that scale to see it. So thank you to council. It was, I think, $700 worth of meat. So yeah, so very appreciated.
Okay.
And cheese.
And cheese. Oh, yeah, there was the box of cheese. I keep forgetting about the cheese. Poor cheese gets left out. But anyway, so thank you to everybody and to Tina too for, I didn't say this, but you know, I know the conversations that we had around the whole community day and the storm and that, and I know the amount of work that committee has put into that, so I appreciate it, and I know it wasn't an easy decision, especially that Friday morning when we all woke up and seen the sun was going in, and we thought, oh, this was gonna be good, but as we've seen over the next 24 hours, things turned, you know.
Just got it more prepared for next year.
Right, so,
It's a
no,
drama.
so I know, so I guess to send that along to the rec committee and all committees that, you know, I appreciate everything that went into it, and hopefully we can build off it for bigger and better. So, thank you.
Before you move on, can I just put one more, I did have a phone call from, a resident. That they would like me to have a conversation, with another committee that was looking for donations of food. If we happen to have food again, they'd like to get on our list. So that, conversation hasn't happened yet, I just haven't had time to give them a call. But I will, and I did put it out there that we weren't in the, you know, in our everyday business of donating food, that we hope that we didn't have to. Glad that we could, but hopefully we don't have to keep doing that. But just to let people know that there was a call and that there's some need in other areas, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but we're not gonna have a list, like that's not what we're. It's gonna be on an as needed basis, so that it comes to council, so it's not gonna be something where there's gonna be a list where we kind of.
Which is a possibility we could consider.
Consider,
when we were.
Consideration.
No, and anybody, so just because we are live, so I mean, anybody at any time can make. That presentation to council through staff, through Linda, right? They can call and they can set up an appointment through community whole and make a presentation.
I just confirmed with Tina that it was the same person that had reached out to me.
Okay,
And I did send them an email today or yesterday and said, you know, we're kind of full till the end of the year, but in January, February, first of the year, we'd have a place open during our committee meetings for them to come in and give a presentation. We're very willing to do that. So.
okay. Perfect. All right, Councillor Sonia.
I had a fairly quiet but busy, but mostly with council meetings. And then I did attend an economic meeting and of course, getting ready for the council community day. I went to the firehouse open house, the fire department open house. And I took a webinar in building trust in municipalities, that's through the UNMP. And I'll continue with tourism. I did not have a tourism meeting. I postponed it because the RSC meeting for the tourism committee was supposed to be that night, but then it got postponed again and again, and it was on they couldn't get a date for everyone together. So part of us went last night and some are going tomorrow night. And I believe, Danny, you're invited to that setting as well. No, I think it starts at 5:30 and before your meeting. No. 12.
For the
12.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
sorry, not.
I know that next week, it's, yeah, I think there's 3 meetings I've got.
So I got a tourism meeting coming up tomorrow night instead. And at this time, I don't really have any information, but I would like to thank my tourism committee that worked alongside the recreation committee with us and attended all the meetings and volunteered and so on. And the other thing I'd like to do is offer condolences to Deanna Love. She is on our tourism committee and her husband passed away yesterday.
Oh, so I'm aware of that. I didn't know that. And they're just our neighbor across the road.
And she's on one of our committees.
Yeah, she's on the
So
tourism
we might
committee.
as council want to.
I plan on going to the
Residents Friday.
Friday, oh, the funeral's not Friday, the wake or whatever, visitation, whatever. you call it, just Friday.
Yeah, I was just waiting to.
It's on Friday. Did you say?
And Saturday, I think, is the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. The details.
So,
Nothing. And that's it.
all right. Counselor, any questions for Counselor Sonia on anything on the report or on boards? Or move on to Counselor Thompson.
Okay. I attended the regular council meeting and the recreation tourism committee meeting at the school in preparation for community day. And I attended the Musquash Fire Department's open house on the 11th. Attended the special council meeting. Attended the committee as a whole meeting. I attended the PrAC meeting on the 21st. Unfortunately, there were technical issues. They could hear me, but I couldn't hear anything they were saying, and I stayed on till about 7 o'clock, and Judy was running the meeting. And I wasn't on mute, because we tested all that. Anyway, by 7 o'clock, I couldn't participate at all, so I told them I was gonna go there, so I did. Also, there were other people in the meeting as well that they couldn't speak. They had to raise their hand and do it that way, but I couldn't be part of the discussions. And I don't know what happened, or she tried to fix it. We tried several things, but it just didn't work. So it was her first time doing it too. But I've never had an issue before, so I don't know if it was me or her. And to attend the budget meeting. And as far as the PrAC meeting, I can tell you what was on the agenda, but I can't tell you how anything went. There was actually two submissions for subdivision right of ways, and there was a variance as well.
If you'd like, I can just put it up on the shader for council. If you want.
Yeah, no, well, let's see. Yeah, Claycorn O'Malley Road in St. Croix. That was the approval of a private right of way for development of land. And the company number NB Limited subdivision Flanders Road, Bocabac, another approval for private right of way for development of land. Then the variance application was for at 99B King Street, St. Stephen, and owners 10 times property management. The applicant was requesting variance in the minimum dwelling unit size in the main building. Apparently there's a hotel motel that's being converted into housing, so, and they wanted to change the size, basically, not to the standard. And then I had no calls or concerns from residents in Ward 3. I will let you know that the boats abandoned on Crow Island Road in Chance Harbor are being removed. They're taking them all out of there. They're snatching them up and pulling them out, and they'll all be gone. So, and I'm not sure who instigated that, but anyway, it's taking place.
On a lighter note, I have a comment to make about her visit to the firehouse open, and she got to run the hose.
Yes, I saw the video.
Oh,
Remember you had an issue with your phone? Or with
oh
your
yes,
phone?
yes.
I didn't see the video.
Yeah.
And the fire call is having a junior firefighter for the day on the 21st of this month. So the children are invited to participate, and we will be doing like a little mock fire. Think about a CPR session with the kids. And there's a third thing we decided. That escapes me at this time. And lunch. So it should be a fun day for the kids. Yes, it was targets with water,
What was the date?
the 21st.
And I think we posted.
I think we should, anytime,
Yeah,
fire department puts something on, I try to share
anything else, Councilor Combs?
No, that's it for me.
Any questions? Nothing? We'll move on to CAO report. Which everybody has, and if there's any motion to accept it.
it. I didn't list my meetings for the month, just. I figured the projects were more important.
I'll let it slide.
Thank you.
Thought it was a competition.
No.
Looking for a motion to accept the CAO report.
I'll make a motion to accept the CAO report as
Motion by
presented.
Councilor Deal, seconded by
I'll second the motion.
Councilor Bent. Questions on the motion? None?
There was an individual, just so you know, that reached out about the establishment of a not-for-profit. Or becoming a not-for-profit agency.
Oh, right.
So I did help them as best I could.
Okay.
Get in the right
That
contact.
was who we spoke of.
Yeah, I can't remember the person's name, it was.
Yeah.
Been busy. Apologies.
No, so nothing further on that, no questions. All those in favor? Contrary, seeing none. Plan and inspection, plan director report.
There was one submitted.
Submitted. Everybody had that? That was from Alex.
Yes, it was.
That included both months.
Yes, it did. One thing I was happy to see, just reviewing the permitting income that's been received in the area and the cost of construction looks pretty good for this year. I was getting a little concerned.
Do you get that just as a lump sum at the end of the
No,
year?
it's paid out quarterly.
Okay,
I don't expect we'll reach what we budgeted, but at least we're getting closer.
yeah, it was pretty long.
Was.
So looking for a motion to accept the planning director's report. As presented.
I'll make a motion to
Motion
accept
by,
the plan and inspection report as submitted.
motion by Councilor Billy, seconded by
Henderson.
Councilor Barnier. Questions on motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passed. I guess the only committee report I had is public safety, so that's my committee. We didn't have no minutes submitted as of yet. So just quickly, the bigger things were, we went over a post tropical storm Lee, some of the things that were brought up and what we were going to look into. One was born net, I believe it was.
I have a meeting with them next week, I believe.
Okay, and other within RSC 10, there are some other communities that use the call out for anything storms or anything happening through emergency services, that, so we are looking into that. That was, I think, the only thing that was really brought to our attention.
The EMP draft.
No, I know, again, that was,
Okay,
that, right? I know, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
So the other thing outside of post-tropical storm was the EMO plan that Linda has worked very hard on, and kudos and thanks also goes out to Linda Robichaud with the fire department and Roxanne Oliver with the fire department for the amount of work they put in and the time, quite in depth. We spent most of the night, and I think it all looked pretty good, actually. It was just a few typos, few changes that the committee wanted to have made that they were gonna look at, and it's done, it's supposed to come back to council.
In November.
Okay,
There was also the template, and I believe I even shared that with council as well, the template for reporting.
Yeah.
During an event.
That will go out to council and go, yeah.
Council, Public Safety Committee, and then like our partners at the fire department and DTI and, you know.
Yeah, so again, back to the storm, I guess it did give us some. The next one to prepare a little better and some things that will be put in place and hopefully moving forward they will be. So, yeah, so public safety, kudos to those girls and guys too, because they did put some effort in and got some results back to Linda of what they want to see changed and hopefully by November to come back to council for vote. And that is everything. Number 9, correspondence. Did you have anything other than this? Well, the only thing I had was I received the invitation to attend the recognition ceremony at Casley Lake, Portage Atlantic. Which I have to let them know next week. It's for October 22nd. That they would like me to attend. So I will research that a little more. That just came in the mail Tuesday yesterday. We just got it, so I'll have to look into it and I will advise. I'm going, invite them, if somebody wants to go. Any other correspondence anybody had? That was. Approval of payments, general government, total. $35,016.80 that are listed, looking for a motion. For payment of that amount.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of general government expenses.
Seconded by Councillor Deely. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary, none, motion passed. Approval of payments for the sewage commission for Thompson subdivision. Total of $345. We will need a motion to pay that. And these are also the, again, just as a reminder, this comes back to us from the commission. So
I'll make a motion for the approval of payments for the sewage commission for Thompson subdivision,
Councilor Thompson moved the motion,
$345.
seconded by Councilor Sonia. Questions on the motion? Being none, all those in favor? Contrary? Motion passed. Approval of accounts that was sent out to you for September 28, 2023. With the revenue and expense report attached, looking for a motion to accept that.
I'll make a motion to accept the approval of accounts, September 20th, 2021.
Councilor Deely, seconded. Councilor Grant. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary, seeing none, motion passed. New business, Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission budget. The 2024 budget for the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission has been included in the council's agenda package for review and comment. The budget is currently in the 45-day review period prior to consideration for adoption for next fiscal budget. Looking for a motion to accept that. You're collecting a lot and looked at me and you look happy, so I don't know if that's gonna be a motion or.
I'll make a motion.
It was happy enough for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 budget for the Southwest Service Commission. And included in the community agenda package for review and comment.
Okay, so you're moving that it be for review and comment?
Yes.
Okay,
What's the motion? Review and comment, or was it to approve it? Do I have approved written in my,
Okay.
did I get distracted?
No,
Do we
I
need to approve it?
Well, there should be,
Yeah.
council can, and I'll,
For review and comment, should have said, I should have said, I did say. Do you want me to reset it again?
I just, when council makes the motion, they can make it to approve it And then the motion can either pass or be defeated based on the comment and questions during the question period of the motion. Did I say that right?
I understood you.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
I really put a review on it, I guess, and then, but.
I guess I'm making a motion to make sure that we include it in the council's agenda package for review and comment.
Review
That we move it.
and comment.
So,
Yeah, so then,
Because at some point it should come to council for official approval.
isn't that after the 45 day?
Well, we're in that 45 now. Well, after the 45-day period is concluded, then the board of directors has to yay or nay it.
Now, how do we approve?
I'm looking for.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I'm looking for a second to Councilor Thompson's motion,
I'll second it.
second by Councilor Sonia. So, motions moved, questions on the motion.
My concern would be, how do we know what goes into any of those numbers? Like, they could have any numbers there.
Okay, the RSC put their budget together, they made a presentation to the board of directors being the mayors. And then they had a meeting with the CAOs to go over the budget. So I can answer some questions if there's questions on how the budget's made up, but our budget discussion that they had with us wasn't as detailed as I would have hoped, and there was some technical issues too, so. There was times where it was quite garbled, so I couldn't participate as much as I'd like.
Well, okay, when it comes to community development, that's my committee, what are they committing to? Because when we were in the meetings, they would advocate, but they were not committing any funds. So if they have such a nice little budget, why are they not committing funds?
Let's get the motion for to review and discuss. And then we'll do that one very first off.
So we do have the motion already, the motion's on the floor,
Yes,
and it's seconded, and we're on the question.
yes, sir.
So is she good for the question?
Well, the question was to review, or the motion was to review and comment on it. So,
Oh, well, that's my comment. That it's hard to approve something when we don't know what is in it. What it's for, stands for.
I'd like to
Is it not when we're doing a review? Right now?
well, you haven't finished the motion to have the review yet.
Oh, right, because we have to vote on.
All
it.
right.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
God, that's that.
So. You bring it up,
The budget.
okay. I just want to be sure before we get to that, so it'll be ready. So all those on the motion or for the motion?
To review and.
Comment.
Contrary, seeing none, passed. Now, Councilor Banks.
Question.
Question.
Okay. Now, I will say, community development, when we had the meeting with the CAOs, they did not discuss that in very much detail. Much of the detail was related around the capital costs associated with the solid waste commission. Not commission, solid waste landfill, the economic development. I did manage to get in some questions about, and I shouldn't say managed, it's not like I was cut off or anything, they were very open to many types of questions that I had. My questions and concerns related to the additional employees that they keep bringing on, like in community development, they're proposing to bring on a grant writer. Or a grant researcher, grant writer position.
And they're paying that out of our community development budget instead of an overall budget, because the grants will be for all committees, would they not? And they want to take it out of our budget.
Yes, but I
I
will
would have a
say,
concern about that.
I can understand that. The goal though, and it's just my understanding, and my understanding could be flawed, is that a percentage of the grants awarded, that money would come back in to help offset the cost of that employee.
That's lovely.
That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, what's that, don't shoot the messenger?
But there's also grant money that is coming from ESIC, and there is resiliency funding. And some of the local governance reform money. Do you know, when they brought it in, it's not called unconditional grant anymore, but probably 15 years ago, that's what it was called. The money that's given to local governments to help equalize or level the playing field in tax rates and services. That money is being transitioned over the next 5 years of 20% a year being deducted from the communities, and that money is going into the RSC rather than to the individual communities to help create some of these positions that's supposed to help everybody. I know, that's my understanding, and
I just don't understand. I mean, I understand the role of the RSC, I just don't understand or see that they're doing it.
yeah, I don't know what to say to that, but I understand your concern, I just don't, it's just not my place to comment on that. I can just comment on some of the numbers.
No, that was just a comment, it wasn't a question.
Okay.
I have a question. There's local planning and cooperative and regional planning in the budget. What's the difference?
No, there.
Sure.
I know what local planning is, and this doesn't sound very good for your CIO to not know what cooperative and regional planning is, I'm sorry.
Well, local planning, I assume, would be,
Your planning inspection services, I think the cooperative and regional planning is kind of a catch-all for some of the other administrative items needed to keep the organization going, but I could be way off. Maybe like GIS and certain things, but I'm not sure. It's not a lot of money, so I couldn't speak to it.
We'll make a note of it.
it almost looks like it's something just for the Salaries Commission alone, but I don't know.
That's why it's hard to approve something that we are not in on the discussions.
I got another one, and maybe I'm being stupid on this, but the recycling. I thought the recycling was sort of transitioning to that other company that.
They're only doing the extended producer responsibility stuff, but I think that's mostly paper products. So there's still other items that can be recycled.
Right.
that
So there's
they're
still
not
some
doing.
that they're gonna be dealing with, just the other
The cans.
is gonna be dealing with the bigger bulk of it.
But there's, the budget is quite a bit higher than it was last year.
Let me get into that.
It's going from 43,000 revenue, 43,000 in revenue. From 9,000 in revenue. For recycling.
And I know they did lose a couple contracts, so that's why the tipping fees will be going back up.
I understand that, but recycling isn't part of what they lost. This is revenue.
Oh, okay, I see the line item you're talking about. Oh, that's in the revenue line.
Yeah,
I believe, and this is where I think the circular materials. They're going to be using that facility, the
so
recycling
they're going
facility
to pay
Yes,
Gotcha.
okay,
That was part of the discussions the other day, is
Yeah.
they're planning on using that facility,
and that's what they budgeted for, is that
Yeah.
they're still gonna use it.
some of the
Okay.
revenue. Oh, yes, recycling revenue higher due to circular materials, okay,
It should be down the bottom of the
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so two things, recreation and tourism, and they're not hiring any new personnel. But the personnel wages are going up $27,400.
I think that was shared. With whoever was already there, so we did ask, because originally the first budget. Was significantly higher because of the hire somebody, and that was the biggest. Fight we had, that recreation was too high, that there was. So we asked that, so they took somebody out of there, so that's supposed to be a shared. Job with whoever's there. So it's not a full job, right, not a full.
So they're not hiring a marketing.
Not a full time for recreation. And that's where that decrease was from.
So the sharing medical, we don't know where it's from.
It was almost $200,000, I believe, 174, and I think that budget compared to this one. I think that It was about 174,000, I believe it was decreased.
And the other, and I know I did speak to Linda about this, but the, in recreation, on the budget that came from the SRS, Local Service Commission, it does say that regional cost sharing contributions of 2 cents per $100 of the 2023 tax base be paid for full recreational facilities, and municipalities get 100% of the contribution back, plus a portion of the rural district contribution of 72,427. And I know that there is a policy in place, and that policy would have been written in 2023, or 2022. But why are we still giving to Eastern Charlotte,
Because of the very,
but everybody else has to keep theirs? So why are we the only one?
That I don't know, that was on the other one that just came out of the budget that they gave to us.
Yeah, oh my goodness, the membership share,
Yeah.
and that policy appears to still be in action. I haven't seen policies. with
I haven't seen the policy, but that's what I sent you that night when they gave it to us, so. Cause I did question, at the RSC on that and why we were given, that's what we were told, is that was the way it was divvied up, I guess, or divided up.
My suggestion is looking at that policy, maybe it doesn't need to be in place anymore for the 2024. I mean, it was something to do with government reform, and reforms taking place, and now we're moving forward, right? I mean, it was there before reform, but
Cause there was a breakdown from not only us, but from all the other municipalities too, and to, for, I don't see the kickback, but the. That's what's that way, yeah, the money that was coming back off of their portion. Well, yeah, so I guess I can do the check.
because I mean, yeah, I see that with everybody's, it does say that. What everybody's paying and what everybody's getting back, everybody's getting more than they paid in, except for Campobello,
Right,
and where there's, but everybody else is getting more than what they paid in. So just that was just a concern, that maybe that policy
Needs to be.
could be looked at or reviewed, or
so I'll just read you
because technically on their paperwork it says we're keeping it. And the economic development, even though it's not, regional development, sorry, even though it's not my committee, I did browse that. Seems that there's quite a large increase in the professional services. $151,000. Looks like they're gonna, I'm not familiar with what the PELT does, what is it?
That is a provincial department, post-secondary education training and labor.
Oh, okay, good.
Pedal.
Okay, pedal, okay, sorry, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was wondering, Pelt, I was trying to see, I was supposed to be Pelt.
Pedal, okay, yeah.
So it's like, what,
Okay.
that's Pelt.
So yeah, their job fairs, that seems a
Yeah.
little high, and the HR, the development, regional HR capacity, that's. Seems a little out of place.
And that was your biggest, amount of monies,
Mhm.
or one of the biggest, and that's where. They switched up, I guess the other mayor, mad about switching from recreation or trying to cost save and we're gonna put money anywhere, that's where they were going with it, was economic development. So I don't know, and that was the breakdown, so yes, those were all pedal. So that was money, I believe. I'm not wrong, that pedal, like that's not gonna directly affect, it's gonna be money coming back through the RSC, so it's not gonna be shown as a deficit, I believe, right? So they're gonna
I
be getting that
can't
money
say for
back.
sure. Looking at the paperwork, it looks like it, but
Yeah,
I-
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and that's why in the box down below it with all the pedal. That money's gonna come back to them, so it's kind of like, I don't wanna say free money, but it's
Okay.
money that's not gonna affect a deficit, or shouldn't, from what we were told or understood.
Now, I have a question, NBCPI, what is NBCPI?
New Brunswick Consumer Price Index. Wage increase.
Okay. I hate acronyms. There are way too many.
I
Oh,
agree.
there's a lot.
Blame it on our.
Now, and so the increase in our personnel for community development is this grant writer.
You go back. It would appear so, yes.
Now, expenses allocation from corporate services, what does that mean?
Hmm. That's the corporate services budget.
My things don't. No, they were.
Corporate
So that's in
services,
it.
there we go. Corporate services was, the executive director's office, his assistant. Some of the human resource, financial management, because they do have a CFO that comes in. Chief financial officer that comes in and works for them, and they've increased those hours in this budget.
So does each committee pay to that?
Yep, out of
Yeah.
the corporate services budget, there's an allocation to each department. So regional planning, solid waste, tourism, economic development, all of them pay a certain percentage of that based on their, how much
Overall,
they use,
yeah, so they,
Yeah.
of what each department uses, that's what they put back into the corporate services.
Mhm.
In the hand of the office.
Holding it up.
Hold it up.
That way, it's just.
It feels it.
Any other
Yeah, good staff, so.
questions?
With the local planning, now that we have. Vern
Burn slightly.
on site, is there anything we can decrease? In our
The
expense that they're gonna be charging us, because we're technically be paying.
What it is for that one, that is a fee for service contract, so it's not built into this.
Mhm.
And
Hours.
yeah, unsightly in Bundy Shores has been paid for out of that other fee, other part of the tax rate that's administered by the province. So rather than the province
Okay.
administering those dollars, we will.
So technically, we'd be saving, yeah.
And council can set, when it comes to us, council can set an upper limit of how much we feel or council feels is appropriate for administering that for a year. So if we get to that level, we can say, oh, we can't really afford to do any more on that this year.
Okay.
Any other question?
Oh, and I will add, on that fee for service. Say if action has to be taken against the property, we can get those monies back.
Yeah, that's where I said that we'd probably be saving because we would get that, we'd be reimbursed it, so we, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Historically, do they come back?
No. Because that's the way it is right now, is we don't get that money back. Whereas under this new bylaw and contract, we can get it back. We have that authority now, where we didn't before.
Mhm. I just was wondering on the likelihood of getting it
You,
back.
if you file for it through the provincial government, you get it back. Because they turn around and add it to the individual homeowners or property owners, not necessarily their home, but property owners' tax bill. I had to think of the word.
Any other questions? No. I will follow up on those questions. Guarantee. All those in favor of the motion?
So you already, we already
Did
did
we
that.
do
Yeah.
it?
Let's go.
Didn't-
We're good.
Perfect. Make motion, I've got a second, I put the line, everybody just input second. Looking for a motion, move into closed session.
I make a motion.
The next meetings first.
I can, and you, okay, I got the other one ready here.
I don't.
Before we go into that, the next meetings will be. Committee of the whole on October 18th at 6 p.m. And committee of the whole. On October 24th at 6 p.m. for the presentation of the rural plan draft. And the regular council meeting will be on November 1st, 2023 at 6 p.m.
Oh, that's nice and soon. Get it done right first of the month.
All right. And now we have a motion to go to closed session.
I move that we move to close.
Councilor
Session.
Cronin, Councilor Deal seconded.